Welcome to the Midwest. My name is Jesse, and today we are talking about the online video courses. I got an email from Kyle, but I've gotten a million people ask me the same question over the years, so let's talk about it. Let's just be honest about this. Kyle is, he emailed me and he is not sure. He's trying to decide whether or not he is going to buy the Wim Hof Method online video course, the 10-week course. He says, it costs some money. It's it's over $200, and he's unsure if he wants to make that kind of an investment. He's learned Wim Hof Method, he says, for free by watching videos online and kind of piecing things together. And he's afraid that he's going to spend some money and not really learn what maybe he might consider would be like he'd get his money's worth. He's afraid that he's going to spend money and then not really learn much. And I've gotten a lot of people that talk to me about this sort of thing. So let's talk about this today. Welcome to the Midwest. My name is Jesse, and I'm answering an email from Kyle, but there's a lot of people out there with this kind of a question. I think this is a really common question, especially in the internet age where information is so easily disseminated. Is it worth it to buy the Wim Hof Method 10-week online course? So first of all, there's a few different questions in this question that I just want to start with. The first question is it worth it to pay to be trained, right? Because I think that's part of it. There's so much that you can get on the internet for free today that why should I ever pay a person to teach me anything? Now, there's a few things there. First of all, if that is, I can completely relate to that. I totally relate to that. When it comes to how to do things, so many times I will go to YouTube or just a Google search and I'll try to learn it myself. I'll try to figure out, use somebody else's information that they uploaded to the internet for free and just try to incorporate that. Now, the thing is, what you're going to find is that over time, you're going to realize that what you get for free is maybe you might get 50%, and if you're really, really searching hard, you might get 80% of, and this isn't just Wim Hof Method, this is just like anything. I don't care if it's like personal training or do it yourself, fix it things at home, cooking recipes, all these things. You can get a lot for free on the internet. And I do it all the time. We all do it all the time. But what you're going to find is that there is a huge difference between actually having a teacher who is a real human being who is interacting specifically with you versus trying to do it on your own. So I take the free course. I take the free stuff as much as I get. I like free. I'm not the type of person who just wants to throw money away. Okay, I'm a Midwesterner. Okay, so we are very, very tight with money, and we're not the kind of people that are going to spend money if it's not worth it. But I will tell you this: what you're going to find is that there will be gaps in your knowledge, and this isn't just Wim Hof Method. This is personal training. This is physical fitness. This is do-it-yourself stuff. This is all these things. There will be gaps in what you learn for free that will cost you eventually. For instance, the vast majority of people, like there's all sorts of dudes. For instance, I started a fitness journey. Whenever I started weight training and getting in shape, I did a lot of learning from YouTube. I did a lot of, maybe I would, I think I got a book and tried to learn from a book, and I got gains. It was great and everything was going great until I didn't realize that all the information that I was getting for free, it didn't take into account my daily patterns. It didn't take into account the fact that even though I thought I was doing it correctly, a lot of times I had dysfunctional patterns. A lot of times I was performing incorrect movement. I was doing I was overtraining some things, undertraining other things, and it led to some severe problems. And it wasn't until I actually hired a trainer who is awesome, and she's a physical therapist, and actually had her give me some guidance, that I started actually getting way better gains. I started feeling better. I was far more flexible, far better off just in every possible way. It cost me some money, but it was absolutely worth it, because I couldn't see myself. I couldn't see past what I didn't know. So the thing is, there is an enormous amount of things you can do for free, but you can't, it's really hard for those free things to give you personalized individual attention. So a trainer, a coach, those, human interaction, we can't undervalue the value of a teacher. Okay, so it's so nice that we have all this information that's out there for free, but I think oftentimes we believe that there's no value in the teaching or coaching component. And to actually have a real human being there to lead you along and to teach you it's something that will always be free every single time. Every single time. Not to mention, the other thing is, if you go for the free route, you're getting a million different voices. Okay? So this is very true with Wim Hof method. I've seen what's out there. I see a lot of garbage. I see a lot of people taking like things to the extreme. I see zero. I don't think I've seen a single person who says, I'm going to teach you Wim Hof method or all this other stuff online for free. I've seen zero people talk about scaffolding, talk about ramping up, talk about what's appropriate for a beginner versus what's appropriate for an intermediate versus what's appropriate for advanced. There's a lot of gaps in what I've seen, especially on YouTube. And I don't think, the thing is, some people are just trying to get a bunch of likes and views. That's a lot of people. Other people are genuinely trying to spread the love, and I commend you, and I really, really commend you for doing that. It's great to spread the love, and it's good. It's a good thing to do. Sadly enough, some things deserve a little bit more expertise. They deserve a little bit more. There's more nuance to just this one simple trick, and then now you know how to do this thing. There's a lot of nuance that comes with Wim Hof method, and if I were you, I would think about that, Kyle, and anybody else considering buying the course versus doing something for free. Now, having said that, if I could go back to before I knew how to do Wim Hof method, like I have, not only have I done the course, and I've done the courses or whatever, and I learned a lot from that, but I trained under Wim himself, and so I've put a lot of time, money, and resources into mastering this breathing technique, and to mastering all the different aspects of the breathing technique, and the mindset, and the cold exposure, all these other things, and not to mention all kinds of other practices that are very worth the money that I've spent, and worth the time and the sacrifice that it took for me to go learn these things. I see these things as very much worth it. Now, before I decided to learn those things, do you think I went online and checked them out for free just to see what kind of they were all about? You bet I did. There's nothing wrong with shopping. There's a lot of things that I am glad that I checked out for free before I, paid a teacher or, flew to some place to do a retreat or something like that. So there's nothing wrong in trying to feel things out for free. And there's nothing wrong with not spending any money. So that's completely up to you. But if I had to go back and do it again, honestly, I would try to find an instructor. And back whenever I first started, I was going to either find an instructor or do the online course. And at the time, there was one instructor in the world, and that was Wim Hof, and he was in Poland, and I was in the middle of the Midwestern states of Indiana, and states of Indiana. I was in Indiana. I was in the middle of the Midwest, and I didn't have the money to go to Poland, and so there was no other resource but the online course. The nice thing about the online course is that it's a reference. I can always go back to it if I want to. I can breathe along with Wim. I can have a breathing session where Wim guides me along. It's not these crazy ones that I see on that people kind of construct with music and things, which are really cool, but awful for a beginner. And I wouldn't really consider them instructive. There's a time and place for them. But if I could go back, I would love to find a teacher, and I would love to have worked under a person. And that's whenever I give a workshop, that's what I try to do. I try to provide my students with the experience that I wish I had way back then. And the thing is, it's cheaper to go to a workshop. Most of the time it's going to be cheaper to go to a workshop. A ticket to a workshop is going to be probably half of the price of the online course. You get to have personal attention. You get asked questions in real time. You meet a lot of other people, and that's really something that is awesome about going to a workshop. You start building a community. If you go to one of my workshops, you get invited to my own personal Facebook, the Midwestern Method Facebook group. There's all kinds of things that you get that you just can't get from an online course. Now, what you may be saying is like, that sounds great, Jesse, but I don't live in a place where there's any Wim Hof Method instructors, so what should I do? Well, one way you can do it, I do online training, so you can get some online training if you want to. You have to reach out to me and ask for it. We'll go over that. But the online course is a great resource if you just can't get an instructor to help you. The online resource that'd be what I would suggest. The great thing about it is that you can breathe along with Wim, and then you know for a fact, okay, this is it. This is the Wim Hof Method. I understand what it is. I have all the resources that I need to have a lifelong practice. I'm not missing out on these things. I don't know, Kyle, what you have learned. I don't know if you've learned it wrong. I don't know if you've learned what you have learned correctly. I don't know if there's specific gaps. And you actually don't know that either. And so that's one of the reasons why it's worth it to get the online course. Again, you can do what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with just learning it for free and hoping that you have it. But you're never going to know unless sometimes you actually have to spend some money to actually find out, did I actually get this? There's a book. If you go online, actually I'll put a link below. There is a book that Wim came out with that is a full description of the Wim Hof Method, and I think it's under $30. So it's pretty cheap if you want to just have the book. So I'll put that in the link as well. I think it's called Becoming the Iceman. There's two books that he wrote. One's Becoming the Iceman and one's The Way of the Iceman. I get them mixed up. I think it's The Way of... Anyway, I'll put the link to the one that's the good one down here. The other one isn't really an instructional book. It's more of like a Wim Hof, it's more of an autobiography or a biography of Wim Hof. I think he helped write his own. It was like half him, half somebody else. It's pretty old. You don't want that one. You want the one that teaches you how to do the Wim Hof Method. I will link it in the box below, and at least you can read the instructions and you'll know, okay, this is approximately what the Wim Hof Method is. I still think that it's worth it to get a trainer, the value of a good teacher is, it's always worth it. If you can get good teaching, you're going to learn more from a good teacher than generally you can teach yourself. That's not everybody. Some people can teach themselves, and that's great. Most of us will get more out of an experience with a teacher than they would get out of just a book or just a video series. So if I had to go back and do it all over again, I would love to have had an instructor to guide me. But if I couldn't do that, I would have gotten the course again. I did get the course, so I guess I'm pretty biased for the course. I thought it was well worth it. There are two courses If you are into yoga, or if you want to do yoga, get the newer one. If you don't really feel like doing yoga and you just want the bare bones, I just want to make sure I know the method, no bells and whistles, just the method only, please. Get the old one. It's cheaper and it focuses on just the 3 pillars of the Wim Hof method only, and that's the one to get. So hopefully that helps, Kyle. I would love to see you at a workshop of mine. Take a look at my website, midwesternmethod.com, for my most current list of workshops. I try to get around the Midwest, and I'm trying to make my way to a little bit further west and a little bit further east, a little bit further north. I'm trying to make it around the country a little bit more each year. So check me out. And of course, guys, thanks so much for watching. And don't forget to go out there and be nice to people.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Pretty sweet snow angel.